A very good morning to you. It is 7 o'clock. It is the 6th of September. We start the news with breaking news this morning. News just in. Let's cross over to our foreign affairs or foreign news editor, Sophie Mokoena, on the latest regarding the health of former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe. Sophie, good morning to you. We're getting reports that the former president has died. Can you talk to us about what you're hearing?
Yes, Leanne, I just spoke to the former Minister of Higher Education in Zimbabwe, Jonathan Moyo, who has confirmed to me that former President Robert Mugabe has died.
Can you tell us a little bit more about his death? Was he in Singapore at the time? Those are some of the reports that I am reading, but perhaps you can tell us more.
Well, I haven't confirmed where he was because I had to communicate with Professor Jonathan Moyo on social media. So it was a private conversation. I couldn't really get the details because I wanted just to verify the news. But what I do know is that President Robert Mugabe has been in Singapore for quite a long time. You'd recall that even President Mnangagwa issued a statement that he's receiving medical attention in Zimbabwe, and the last statement he sent gave an indication that not all is not well in connection with the health of former President Robert Mugabe. Yeah. And therefore, this morning when I got a message from our correspondent in Zimbabwe to say, I hear this news, but please confirm. I then called people who were very close to him, even towards his admission, towards him going to Singapore for medical checkup. And then I spoke to Professor Jonathan Moyo, who did confirm to me that President Robert Mugabe is no more.
Remind us.
I suspect he was in Singapore.
Okay, so that could possibly be it. Remind us of what we can call the late president, or former president of Robert Mugabe, Sophie. Remind us of his time as president, the years that he was in Zimbabwe, and of course, leaving, obviously, that position, and of course, since then, it's been a very difficult time for Zimbabwe as well.
Yes, we would recall that former President Mugabe was quite popular because he was involved in the liberation of Zimbabwe, and he became the president of Zimbabwe. He did very well to turn around the education, but there was a time where things went horribly wrong in terms of the policy that he implemented, which led to the meltdown of the economy. You would recall the policy on the land, where he was criticized and sanctions were even imposed on Zimbabwe. And since then, Zimbabwe has been experiencing economic meltdown. And finally, you know that there was a fallout within the party. That fallout was caused by the fact that some senior party leaders thought that former First Lady Grace Mugabe was going to take the reins. And there was that fallout, and finally he fired his vice president, Emerson Mnangagwa, who fled to South Africa. And there were protests in Zimbabwe, which led to former President Mugabe handing in his resignation, and Mnangagwa going back to Zimbabwe and taking over from former President Robert Mugabe. For me, what I remember well, it's my exclusive interview I had with him, with that picture on the background that you have, where he spoke about how he feels about Zimbabwe, lamenting the fact that he feels that the change of government was by military means and it was a coup, saying that he's disappointed that the people he trusted betrayed him, saying that he is aggrieved, and he was aggrieved that the then former President Jacob Zuma couldn't do anything, and then also the fact that South Africa couldn't do anything, neither could former current president Cyril Ramaphosa do anything. And then the other issue that he spoke about was that he is thinking whether he should vote for ZANU-PF. And later, just a day before the elections, I attended the press conference at the Blue Room, his private residence in Harare. That's where he made those famous quotes or words or statements I will never vote for my tormentors. And indeed, he didn't vote for ZANU-PF. And there was a fallout, but later they were able to try and mend their relations after the passing on of Grace Mugabe's mother, where President Mnangagwa supported the family. And you'd recall that there was a clip also where Grace Mugabe said she was happy that the government did something. But lately there were rumors that he is still aggrieved. And then in early this year he went to Singapore for treatment and he never came back. He was in hospital. So I don't know whether he died in Singapore or in Harare. I will look at that today with all my contacts in Zimbabwe.
All right, thanks very much. There on the line is Sophie Mokoena talking to us about the former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe. Confirmation coming through from his family that he has passed away. I am reading also confirmation that it was in a hospital in Singapore, but we'll continue to monitor that story and bring you everything that we do as soon as the information comes.